is almost 16%. 20%, or 1 in 5 of Canada's youth aged 15 to 24, live in the GTHA. Nearly 10% of these youth, about 83,000, are at risk of being a lost generation. They are not in employment, education, or training, and many of these young people face multiple barriers to employment. What would you do as mayor to tackle this growing issue?
There is a crisis in our hands. 1 out of 5 young people cannot find jobs, which means that they can't really get started in life. My plan is to create at least 5,000 jobs leveraging the city's capital budget, investment in infrastructure. So when the city needs to build housing or libraries or pave roads and all those important things that needs to be done, in all these big projects, I will ask these companies, these corporations, to sign a community benefits agreement. And this agreement would mean that they have to hire young people and also train them if necessary. We've done that in Regent Park. 500 jobs were created, giving hope to young people, giving them a sense of purpose, and giving them good jobs that pay good money. And they became role model right in their neighborhood. It's a win for the company, it's a win for the city, it's a win for the young people. It's been done in Vancouver and all over the United States. That is my plan. We can create 5,000 jobs doing it this way. Now, Mr. Tory thinks that will work because he believes that it's a bureaucracy. Well, actually, in Alexander Park, Tridel is doing it, and Daniels have already done it. It's happening. We just need to make sure it's all across the city. And also, Mr. Tory thinks that, just as Rolodex would do, and if the Rolodex is going to be the solution for everything, then we wouldn't be in such a crisis. We have to invest in young people now by supporting small businesses, also by selling ourselves across the city and outside this country. I've done so as a member of Parliament. I have represented Canada before, and I'll continue to get jobs right here in the city.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Open discussion, we'll start with John.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the first thing I'll tell you is you're darn right I'll use every Rolodex I can find. Mine and everybody else. In the end, the creation of jobs for young people and for everybody else is going to depend on everybody stepping up. I said this in my opening statement. Business has to step up. We have to make it much easier for small and medium-sized businesses to step up and give young people that first opportunity. So you're darn right. I will use my Rolodex, and I'll get everybody else's Rolodex too. But it comes back to something even more fundamental to the city, which is we've got to make a big effort to attract jobs and investment here generally, because we need more jobs in Toronto. The unemployment rate among young people is unacceptably high, but the unemployment rate for all people is well above the national average. So we have to go out and have somebody with the reputation and with the ability to get people to come here to Toronto and invest and do what Cisco did, for example, where they named us as one of the 5 cities of innovation in the world and brought 3,000, or they're in the process of bringing 3,000 real careers here for people in this city. And we have to do that over and over and over again. We've got to go and get our share of the money set aside by the province and the federal government. Toronto doesn't get its share of this money. We are the biggest city in the country. We have the highest numbers of people who are unemployed, I regret to say, and we've got to go and get their money and work with them cooperatively to have programs that actually are coordinated together instead of this patchwork quilt of things we're doing now. I've also said, because you do need to have some things that provide some shorter-term relief for young people in particular, and the city can do this to double the size of its most successful youth employment program. And that means engaging double the number of companies. And that's where you will use a Rolodex, and that's where you'll go out and have meeting after meeting and see anybody you have to see to say, we need your help. And that's
When we talk about youth unemployment, I think we need to look at the larger issue of unemployment in general. We can look at larger economic trends, we can look at increasing levels of automation, we can look at the increasing use of
internships, jobs for students that promise growth in the future but that don't pay in the present. We can look at senior citizens whose financial savings were wiped out just a couple years ago who now have to continue working, and so the line of people moving up in the system has stalled. We can look at a lot of these issues, and I think when we talk about unemployment, we can also look at governance in general, how we've shifted the emphasis towards efficiency. And if we look at the most efficient form of government is a dictatorship, but that doesn't mean it's the best form of government. And so again, the most efficient form of operating a business is not paying your employees, or of paying them $0 and minimizing the amount of employees that you need to pay. And that's exactly what's happening. We have companies that are continually striving to make money, and what they're not considering are the people that they're throwing out of the door, people who they're not giving the opportunity to make a living. And so when we talk about unemployment, the issue isn't to ask for money from other levels of government, and it's not to train youth, to provide them with better partnerships. It's to ask as a society that those people around us who are running large corporations to be less greedy. And it's up to each and every one of us to go out on the street and to say, look, we all want our society to prosper, and that involves each and every one of us being able to provide ourselves with housing, with food, with childcare, with the ability to afford the basic necessities of life. And so it's not an easy thing to do, but we need a mayor who's going to stand up to corporate interests, and a mayor who's going to stand up not for one person or one part of the city, but for all of us, for every single person, from the oldest person in the city to the youngest person, to the people who haven't even been born yet. Thank you.